Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be quickly showing you how you can use the code node inside of N8N. So what I have over here is I have a couple of different input fields here. One of them, for example, is just the name of a person. I'll just go ahead and execute the step so you can see exactly what it looks like. So I just have this one person called Samantha, age 24, and their hobby is sewing. Then over here I have another field over here which I can execute this to show you, is just a list of items you would typically find in a grocery store. For example, their quantity and the price that they are listed at. So now using the code nodes, first I'm going to show you with this one over here. What you want to know for this code node is how to reference data from a particular node that is directly not behind you. So for example, if you want to reference data from this node over here, normally you would just use the input.json. However, for example, since we want to use data from a particular field over here, you have to reference the name of this edit field. So because the name of this one over here is called edit field 1, we want to reference the data from in here. We want to use this data and input it into our code node. So what you want to do is create a variable const data, and then you have to use the $, and then input quotation marks edit fields 1, which is just the name of the node back there. And then over here, I'm just simply outputting it in the same exact format over here, which if we execute this step, let me just go ahead and execute all this workflow here. And you can see over here that it just outputs the name, age, and the hobby in the exact same format that we used. Now, there's a couple different options you can use for the code node. One is you have two different modes. First one is you run once for all items. This means you could have one input, 5 inputs, 20,000 inputs. The code node will only run once. This is the opposite for this option. This will run as many times as there are input items. So if you have 2 input items, it will operate twice. If you have 5 inputs, it will do it 5 times and such. So this is how you can reference data from a particular node. Oh, also you have 2 options for the programming language. The default is JavaScript, and I believe this is the one they support the most. I think that they are still working to Python. You can just program JavaScript as you want, and you can even ask AI to generate a particular code for you if you are not that good with coding it yourself. So I'll show that to you, for example, in the previous node over here. So going back to here, as I showed you before, I have a list of different grocery items here. So now what I want to do is, since it's in an array, I'm just splitting it out, and then what we're going to do over here is we're going to calculate the total cost or the total value that we have of all the items. So we have 6 bananas and we have price at $2.5. So that means that if we go ahead and execute this step, you can see that we have $15 worth of bananas, and it basically rinse and repeats for each item. So just going ahead and calculate the total value we have per item, as you can see over here. This to me seems a little bit weird over here. It should just be 50.4, but perhaps N8N is adding some decimal that we don't see further behind. So, and as you can see over here, the difference that we have now is when it creates the variable const in items is actually taking all input data. So if you want to, instead of not referencing just one node, you can just do this $input.all, and it will basically take all of the data from nodes that are previously behind it. And so over here, just doing some simple math that just outputs the price times the quantity to get the total value of the item, for example. So, like I showed you before, you can also use the Ask AI to basically generate a code for you. So why don't we go ahead and test this out. So for example, I want to say, take each input item and calculate the item that costs the least, then output that item's details. So now we'll just go ahead, there we go, click generate code, and so now it's going to go ahead and it's going to create a custom code for our needs. So now you can see over here, we got our code. Let's see if it actually works. If it does work, we should get the banana item as the cheapest item, As you can see over here, it actually created another JSON over here called least expensive item, and we have the name banana, quantity 6, and the price is at $2.50, which you can see is actually the least expensive item that we have compared to the other grocery items over here. So this is how you can quickly use the code node inside of N8N. Really, if you know how to code, the most important thing you want to worry about is just how to be able to reference all the data. If you're very good with programming, the rest is simply up to you on what you want to use for your application. So I hope that you found this tutorial helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.